There we go, mannaggia, we are here, has finally arrived the moment. Over the last 30 days, I was managed to make my first $10,000 in a month with my online business. And trust me, this sounds completely crazy to me. And to be honest, guys, the only goal of this video is to actually inspire only one of you that right now you're watching on this video and you were in the situation that I was, and you want to flip your life upside down and starting getting into making money online as a travel creator. Because over the last 2 years and a half, I was such a normal university student following a traditional path that the people used to be picturing me. And right now I'm able to actually travel all around the world, in Asia, in different places, and having the access to make money online and don't be relying on an office job that I used to be hating. Now, I want to start by saying that I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm gonna be putting myself completely naked and show exactly my whole path from 2 years and a half to actually now. And I wanna share the ups, but to be honest, over the last 2 years and a half, there were more down than ups. Everything started in a small city. I come from a small city of 20,000 citizens close to Milan called Cerro Maggiore. I used to be such a traditional guy, traditional family, nothing crazy, humble family. I used to be growing up with the traditional path in my brain. So going to high school, university, getting a degree, finding a job, normal job, working for 50 years and waiting for the retirement. And that's something that I used to think that was the only way, until everything actually started shifting. Over my past, I was always in the eyes of everyone, to be honest. I used to be a club organizer, I used to be working in a club, I used to be delivering some pizza, and I always surrounded myself with a fake environment and fake people around me, because when you used to be working in club, I remember that I used to be popping bottles in the club, dressing up with the super amazing brands to only look cool in front of people. I used to be surrounded by people that were close to me for the connection that I had, but not for the person that I was. And this led me a lot of traumas during my high school period and as well as the university. And I never completely fully understand who I was. Sports for me was the game changer, because all my hate, all these thoughts that I had, I used to be releasing them through sports. In fact, I was a basketball player professionally here in Italy. Plus, I used to be doing so many sports that I cannot even count. About swimming, skiing, paddle tennis, basketball. I couldn't be able to stand stable in a point. I needed to always be in action, always be doing something. And that was my only way of releasing all the tension that my social life was giving to me. Until I went to university. I studied management engineering, and to be honest, since I started university, I immediately noticed that the kind of life that people used to be picturing me is not the one that I wanted. Also because I was looking at my parents working from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. day and night, and I started asking myself, do I really want to live that life? And the answer was no. I used to be seeing all these people on social media traveling all around the world, in Bali, in these crazy places, making money from their phone. So I used to be thinking, how the hell can I even make a life like this? For me, it was impossible. My brain couldn't be able to comprehend. Until everything started. In May 3rd, 2023. This is where everything started shifting. I was in university and I received a message from a friend of mine called Diego, that he literally came to me and he said, Remy, I need to tell you about a project. And I was like, yeah, sure. Those are the kind of things they know online. I used to be so skeptical about it, but I remember there's something starting lighting up in my brain. I said, okay, let me give myself a chance. So actually everything started the 3rd of May. That was my biggest turning point that made me pass through the traditional path or way of thinking to kind of getting inside of the entrepreneurship world. And in fact, that my life and my journey at the beginning was really like passive. I was not actively doing a business. I used to be starting in network marketing. So network marketing was the business that I started 2 years and a half ago. And the one thing that I realized over the first months, especially at the 11th of November, is that I finally find a community of people that used to be thinking like me. And they were close to me and they were connected to me for the person I was. And another big shift came immediately after, actually, the 2023, the 11th of November. I participated to one of the biggest events of entrepreneurship in Europe in Vienna. So in Vienna, I was actually one of my first events of 7,000 people where they used to be speaking about entrepreneurship, about mindset, about a lot of things. And I was able to connect with people such as minded and they were in my same journey. So I remember that in my brain, everything started clicking. Oh my God, where were these people? Before I used to be clubbing, losing a lot of time in that. And then at the 11th of November, I saw a completely different environment. It made me take the decision to become an entrepreneur rather than still having that little thought of finding a normal job. And to be honest with you, my first year, let's say my first year and a half, I had much more downs than up because I used to be remembered that in order to become a successful entrepreneur and a successful travel creator, you need to remove so many shit from the past that you cannot even imagine. So actually this whole year, I didn't make any crazy amount of money. Actually, maybe some thousands of dollars here and there per month, but nothing crazy. But for me, it was the moment that I needed to build myself, my habits, and the way I thought. Because to become an entrepreneur, I used to be removing bad habits, waking up early, scrolling on TikTok, watching porn, kind of hooking up culture. Like I needed to remove all those thoughts and habits that I used to be having before. So for me, this year was a crazy year. It was a crazy, literally, I used to be crying so much in that period because it's hard. And I really believe that entrepreneurship and freedom is not for everyone. So that I started getting in 2024, so a new year. And in 2024, as I said right now, it was a really deep moment of my life. It was a moment of change. I used to remember that I used to be working day and night, from 8 a.m. to literally 11 p.m. And obviously all the people close to me, my parents included, they were completely against me. My family, my siblings, my parents, my friends around me. Nobody was able to really understand what I was doing because, to be honest, I kind of understand them because I used to be working from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. without having any sorts of results. I used to be only light up by a dream, putting the reps in, putting the work in, but nobody saw the vision that I saw. And then I started asking myself, do they live the kind of life that I want? And the answer was no. So I started understanding in this period that the reality is that you need to be focusing and you need to be listening only to people that have the kind of life that you want. That's what made me be doing big shifts. Eventually here I found my first girlfriend, which I remember fell in love with. And she plays a really big important part in 2024, but eventually we broke up. But we started meeting together and we were so passionate, we were having the same kind of goals. So I started the year with having a girlfriend instead of the business. And I remember that another big shifting point instead of my business was during this period. Here that I used to be doing events, so I took my little Fiat Panda going to these kind of events in order to present my business, to present my product without having a clear goal. Like I used to be making $1,000, but then in that little smelly room, I still remember it was called the Welcome Hotel. I used to be thinking and talking to people about living financially free, having an amazing car, having an amazing villa, having an amazing everything. But I used to be driving my Fiat Panda while I'm speaking about this. So it's kind of crazy. And I still remember those kind of periods where I couldn't even be able to speak in front of people, that I do it, and that gave me so much confidence in talking in front of people, in front of the camera. So for me, this period from the 3rd of May to kind of the 15th of April was literally trial and error. So 2024 at the beginning was literally a hustle until I arrived to the 27th of September. This is exactly where all my life started declining and touching rock bottom. Because the 27th of September, it was a moment where I was in Budapest, and I remember that thanks to my business, I needed to achieve a big goal. I needed to arrive to my first $6,000 in a month with my business, and I remember that I used to be putting all my heart and energy and passion into achieving this kind of rank, which eventually, day and night, working like crazy, not eating, jumping sleep, I didn't hit. And that moment was really strong for me, because can you imagine like that you put all your heart, energy, effort, time into something, and then eventually at the last day you didn't achieve it? I still remember that all these people in my whole business achieved the same rank that I did, like so many people, yeah, congratulations, 6K, congratulations, 6K, and I was the only guy in the room that didn't achieve it. That hit hard on me. because I know that I put a lot of effort into this, but I remember that I couldn't be able to speak to people for over a month. So I was literally silenced. I couldn't be able to speak. I was like emotionally, my social battery was down on earth. And immediately right after, I broke up as well with my ex-girlfriend that I started getting engaged from the beginning of the year. So here I eventually broke up. So over these last 3 months of 2024, it was bad. It was really bad. My relationship started falling. Then in New Year's Eve, something big has happened as well. I'm gonna be explaining in a second. Everything was broken. Family was broken. My business was falling as well because during this period, since I stopped working, all my team fell as well. So I had all these 1, 2, 3 area of my life completely destroyed. So I felt so alone. This was the day where everything shifted. New Year's Eve 2024. I still remember it was the 1st of January at 6 a.m. in the morning in a little dark street in Magenta. I was going back home. I was literally like crying like a baby at 6 a.m. in the morning because I remember that in my Fiat Panda, the Fiat Panda, I have a really emotional attachment to that Fiat Panda because it's the place where I cried, it's the place where I dreamed the most, it's the place where I could feel like home. Not even in my house because I had problems in family, and actually this house for me drains my energy, but my Fiat Panda was the place where I felt home. So I literally touched rock bottom. I also asked myself, does it even, this game of wealth, is worth for me? Can I really achieve the success that I said I want to have? I was broke, like mentally, physically, spiritually. I had nothing to rely on. But when you have those moments of storm, there's always a rainbow coming right after. So what happened is that thanks to my university, only thing that I was thankful for, I had the opportunity to go to Asia for 6 months for an Erasmus. And exactly the 2nd of January, so right after New Year's Eve, I had the chance to take one-way flight to Asia. And that, from that moment on, everything completely changed. But I was so down that eventually, when I went to Asia, I was feeling alone. And that was the biggest gift that life could ever give to me. Because when you're alone, that's the moment where you start thinking, you start behaving, you start kind of doing a reset. In fact, I still remember the 2nd of January because that was the day that I got a flight from Milan to Singapore. And that flight was 17 hours. Okay, and in those 17 hours, some people have slept. In me, I couldn't be able to sleep. I couldn't be able to even close my eyes because I needed to put my life back together, have the shit back together because I had everything fallen, so I needed to rebuild. I started writing all these different goals that I wanted to have, and I started asking myself and going on YouTube, how to reprogram your brain 8 hours course, or how to completely shift your life upside down in a short period of time. So I started bombarding myself and my brain on how can I actually change the situation. And from that moment on, I took the decision to go all in on social media. Said, I need to develop my personal brand. So that was one of the biggest choices and decisions I've ever taken in my life, and eventually it completely changed my vision. And I still remember that I was closing this little room in Singapore completely alone, watching YouTube videos, reading books, posting content for a long period of time. In the meantime, that I was following some lessons in Singapore, but to be honest, I was jumping every single lesson to kind of do my own business and finding myself. I started posting, for example, on social media every single day consistently, started putting the reps in, and for literally 3 months, nothing has happened, but I started getting more and more comfortable posting content. After posting for 3 months straight, I remember that I had 2 weeks free where I could be able to travel somewhere. And there was something calling inside of me that I needed to go to Bali. And I remember people asking me, Remy, can I come to Bali with you? Can I come to Bali with you? And then I remember that I said no to everyone because I knew deep inside of me that I needed to go to Bali without them. I need to go there alone. Matter of fact, I went to Bali. I still remember, 7th of April. That was a big shifting point. That was Bali. And I went to Bali, I arrived to Bali and I went immediately Uluwatu, that is a part of Bali, and I went living in a cliff, substantially, where there was no connection, no nothing. So it was me, myself and I, my thoughts, a piece of a paper, and the people that I met. So I still remember that after putting the work in for 3 months, 4 months straight, not seeing crazy results, I went to Bali and everything started shifting. I remember that I was in this little beach in front in Uluwatu, and I used to be walking for hours and hours in this beach with my phone and a piece of paper and a pen. And I remember that the idea starting flowing into my brain. Bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like a crazy amount of ideas in a short period of time. Nobody teaches us to stay in front of a piece of a paper for a long period of time because we're living in a world of a consistent inputs, iPhone, scrolling on TikTok. So whenever we sit down on a paper and a pen, that's where our mind starts opening, and that's exactly what happened to me. So all these crazy ideas started popping in my head. And from that moment on, from the 7th of April to the 10th of April, I blew up on social media. I did 13,000 followers in literally in a month, and my life completely flips upside down. And I started getting more and more comfortable, and I eventually created the whole idea of what right now I'm working on, which is a Nomad Creators Hub. So the idea of building a travel creators community came up in this beach in Uluwatu, the 7th of 10th of April, and that lighted me up in a way that I never thought it could. It was just an idea, but I couldn't be able to execute it straight away because I didn't have the resources and I didn't have the skills enough to do it. But I put the reps in, and then from the 10th of September, I finally and eventually launched the Nomad Creators Hub community.
The pieces in my life go away with you. Forever in my mind, only you. The pieces in my life go away with you.
So right now I'm literally helping people into the travel creators niche, scaling personal brands, building your own offers, building your own coaching offer, and helping you out to scaling from $5,000 to $20,000 thanks to Nomad Creators Hub and thanks to our personal brands. Nomad Creators Hub is something that I care about, and is literally like my little baby, because I thought that there are so many people that want to work online and they want to travel. There are so many. I used to be one. And I want to build a house where people feel like home, people feel safe, but at the same time, people can monetize and change completely their life. So that's where Nomad Creators Hub got created. And right now, from the 10th of June to right now, which should be the 20th of September, right now that I'm doing this video, I was able to scale this to a 10K a month business. And this is literally just the beginning. Guys, this whole thing for me was a journey. I couldn't be able to give the whole deep information details about these 2.5 years, but they were a journey. It was a roller coaster. And what I want to share with you is that whenever you feel lost, there's always gonna be a moment that everything starts shifting, because eventually, if you're meant to be, and if you're meant to become successful, you're gonna be finding a way. So if you are a person such as me, 2.5 years ago, completely lost, but you knew that you're meant for more, and you want to travel the world, you want to become a travel creator, you want to develop skills, high-paying skills, and you want to actually monetize and getting the location freedom, financial freedom that you want, you got this. I know you got this for sure. Follow along. Please follow on YouTube channel, because I'm going to be dropping so much damn value that you're not ready for. And if you can potentially, and if you are qualified enough, we can potentially work together one-to-one and build this Nomad Creators Hub community together and travel all over the world. For me, guys, it was a pleasure. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.